Tell me! Tell me!
Huh. When did I have a microwave in my room? Huh? I mean, yeah, could work.
Eba, first introduced in DBT05, is one of the glitter units featured in Craycross Epic. It is also the first deck to introduce research orders, or really a fancy way of archetype blocking certain set orders, and accompanying her as part of the trend of dual nation rearguards is Obfuscate, a grade free from Keter and Brancate. Early Eva was a huge train wreck of a deck at first. The first research order she had access to was a grade 2. It led to her game plan being horribly slow as Obfuscate needed to see free research orders to get 10k in a critical. Despite this, through her ride line and her skills, she's able to filter directly, and with constant compression over time, hitting double triggers would become more frequent as a result. This idea made a solid foundation for the deck later down the line. Other Brancate cards introduced in the set were Secondal to recycle Obfuscate, and Tectean to dig for orders from either the ride-up ditch or the grade 2 ditch. And, this quote-unquote alien thing that gets power. So how did Bushiroad fix this deck? Let's give it a promo. This isn't the first time this happened, by the way. Result of the experiment henceforth. Now, why was this card absolutely broken for its time? Firstly, it fixed the problem of your G2 being your only research order, and if you were somehow unlucky with, damaging them. The card being G1 and searchable means that you can easily access your Obfuscate's 10k and crit earlier than being something that's stuck on turn 4. Secondly, this provided countercharge. With Array one of the best countercharges in the game, you can just abuse the hell out of things, like I don't know what to tell you. Lastly, the card added you an Obfuscate from drop. Eva at this point could only call Obfuscates from either deck or from hand, so being able to recur means that the deck could also work with a good grind game, otherwise it's just 10k shield in hand, so nothing too deep. In set 6, it introduced Combine Rusher and paired with Bulb Mine provided a really strong engine for free recurring bodies, and provided countercharge and soul to Eva when she needs it. Combine Rusher also helped give Eba reliable early game commits, or at least an ideal ditch target to recur early on. But for what came out in set 8, and what really gave Eba that really huge power kick, was Blue Lab and Red Obfuscate. Blue Lab, another research order, but grade free this time, provided more aggressive filtering, the ability to generate a board easier, and the ability to call Obfuscates outside of Eba's skill. On the other hand, Red Obfuscate worked as an early G2 commit, a 15k swing turn free, and if superior called, could sweep the entire front row in front of decks that were over-reliant on having a front row. These two cards were part of the reason for why this deck was so strong at the time. The plus 5k that comes from blue, despite how simple it looks at first, you can either spend this on your Obfuscate to swing for better numbers, or to help pump up Eva, as in technicality she's the first to second weakest swing. Especially at this time when decks were composed of 46 cards, breaking the 2 to pass was actually a viable strat. Triggers could actually double down with how frequent they'd be checked, and with Elder Breath, it made this deck a huge race with Eva flipping OT or just checking double crit and winning. Other notables from this set were Event Robust and Wavy Loss, which event being used to help unbreak from being stuck on 2 set orders, and Wavy Loss, a way to pump up your obfuscated columns and be a refundable early commit. A little similar to GG coming from Chronojet, who was also one of the dominating decks of that set 8 format. Of course, the new main downside was just finding space for things, alongside Event Robust being shieldless, burning CB, and non-recurable, especially in a period where Eva's CB was more scarce, even with Bulb Mine. Also, you're supposed to just simply not brick anyway. It was a time you already wanted to aggressively mull for your 3rd order anyway. Around set 9, Youthquake released, and god I wish this came out earlier in English, which gave us Versatile Assembler, being one of the best staples the deck has ever gotten. Though, mind that it was drops later on. Assembler is a grade 2 that's a simple top 7 search for a set order and add to hand. The second skill allowing you to boost so as long as you superior call that turn. In that case, you have now a reliable way to, fetch your 3rd order looking at you, and the card could also function as a booster for your Obfuscates, making pretty good numbers actually. There's also the Brancate Dragon Tree Wretch, which filled an arguably similar role to Combine for building a board, but other than having an advantage of, having additional filter, Combine just did so much more that just didn't clog up a booster slot, so usually it was ignored for most topping lists. Now, Eva being relevant for, 4 sets? You'd think this deck would, calm down, right? Nope. Here in set 10, we have Habitable Zone, one of the most stupid cards ever printed and that Eva could abuse. Both to build hand early, and on the person right turn, search for a set order that lets you play 2 set orders in 1 turn, 1 being costless. With this, Dunk was actually played as a one-of that allowed you to refund itself with a draw and give your G2s boost for the rest of the game, so that your Habitables could be used as boosters instead of just clogging up space. Mind that if you've searched it for Habitable and played that first, you could just dodge needing an extra CB. Being able to play 2 orders in 1 turn means you can also use Blue Lab twice in a turn, or even abuse henceforth's countercharge and retrieving shield from Obfuscate. Of course, this was a time that this deck came out and was arguably a tough matchup because it was able to plus more and reach 5 bind early on because of this thing, and sometimes if they're crazy enough to be running this card. Around Festival Collection's release, the deck finally actually had that downtime as Willista came out, and was just one of the decks that just stomped on Eva. Despite Eva being able to stabilize turn 3 onward, both the draw power and the stronger early rush Willista had made it hard for the deck to keep up, especially since Eva's most fragile point of the game was actually the early game. However, what actually gave Eva the second win during this sort of down period was Poison Paradise Eva. This is her new form from set 11, which is able to filter and be extra Persona Ride copies that the deck actually needed really bad. This card's also costless and is able to dig for your drop for obfuscates and give both units plus 5k on swing. While this did a lot, it was also just, pretty slow because of the Persona Ride. You also lose out on the Scry, and you just had so much open CB. Well, at least we could use Combine. Not much patch the issue of Eva being slow, especially faster decks such as Minerva, Kashu, Mikamune, Mushking climbing to set 11 format. Eva could steal a top or two, but at this point there was just not enough. Similar issues still persisted into set 12 with Orpheus and Bastion, and set 13 with the big free and heroes, Inner Shiranui and Luard, and set 1 stuff. This surely marked the end of Eva, right? Nope. If one promo could save the deck, just make another. Imrigar, a shop promo, is part of the Glitter Superior Ride promo line, and is the card that brought Eva back to being a powerhouse again. Imrigar is a recurable body that uses energy, is also an option for an early commit that helps with rushing, and is able to act as a 10k booster as early as turn 1, and also can just drag out Red Eva from an attack skill, which you can use to scry in the same turn. Oh my god, this card just does everything with just a simple skill. Being energy costed means that it doesn't conflict with a Combine Rusher's cost, where you can easily just build boards from just your drop. Being also the superior ride into Red Eva to dig for means that you don't have to maul for your third set order, or run other cards that search for set orders. But does that mean you have to aggressively maul for it? Yes, well, but no. With Imrigar being a monster means it's also searchable off Toriential, which is also a research set order. And with this, Eva's build starts shifting going all into monster orders in the main deck. Notables being Monster PG, Radiabilio, Secondo, and sometimes even Wavy Loss. Other than introducing a consistency engine, and as a way to dig PGs early on, there are also avenues for high roll with being able to filter free at max during the G1 and G2 write-ups. Of course, you just fully whiff it and just not net anything. Happened to me too many times actually. Alongside the deck needing some sort of additional firepower also comes in Radiabilio, which on turn 4 becomes a 23k booster and makes your crit obfuscated a huge PG check. Freezing Wave in set 2 is also a huge option as a massive shield and to give a reason to rest your Torientials. Although in later formats, even with the Luard Dogban and especially Nui list, and with other decks up and coming that abuse strong early games, gimmicks, or more multi-swings, Imrigar still isn't enough to carry back the deck to its former glory. But regardless, Eva remains as a fan favorite deck, and arguably even unit in the community. As the Craycross Epic novel is still ongoing, and as of writing this, we hope to see her and the rest of the Glitters with new support that, who knows, just might bring her back again. That'll be all for Eva. If you enjoyed the vid, please do leave a like, comment, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. If I missed anything, please do leave it in the comments as well. Anyways, I'll hope to see you in the next video, and until then, peace.
Are we watching Peak? Never mind, we're looking at dog shit.
We were watching Peak.
No, who was it? Who was that? Who was that? No,
Oh, that was Chris.
Lean on the screen. Actually,